Hello, welcome to my first color interpretation, assuming there's another one because it's side number one. But for my attribution findings, I think that both blue and orange would be the best colors for viewing things dispositionally. I chose blue because they're very empathetic and they're very like emotional beings. So they are more so like they would think that it's the person who is the reason behind the action rather than like the situation. And I chose orange because they are very impulsive beings who probably tend to think other people are just as impulsive as they are. So they probably think that, well, someone did something crazy, like that's who they are, you know? And for situationally, I chose two colors and it was gold and green. I chose gold because they're very like by the book structured people. They prefer organization and they would look for a sense of like materialistic outside source for people's actions. And green because they're very logical beings and they would be able to look at a situation and be like, okay, well, what factors were involved besides just like thinking about the person. So for my own color analysis, I was blue. I had 17 points blue and 16 points green. Those were my two highest. So they were actually really close, but blue did take the cake. And because of that, I am a very emotional and sensitive being, and I tend to struggle most with like dishonesty and disloyalty because I'm such a people-driven person and I'm like I said, emotional. So I take things too personal most of the time. So because of that, I tend to look at things very dispositionally, and I always think like, oh, like why would they do that to me? And that's actually something that I've always said when I was younger. Like if a person loved you, they would never do something to hurt you. And it wasn't really until I was like thinking about it, like what about situational, you know? So I do struggle a lot with situational understanding because I just assume that everybody has a reason for doing the things that they do, and that's like who they are. So yes, I do struggle with looking at the situational side of people's actions. What I could do to help with this, luckily I got that green, like backtracking the blue. So for that, I do usually tend to like think if I'm being irrational because a person did an action that affected me in some way and I am like, well, how could they do this to me? Usually I do tend to be logical after I kind of psych myself out, but that's when I bring in logical understanding and I think about how like, okay, well, this person probably didn't mean to hurt you, because if they did care about you as a person, they probably wouldn't do something to hurt you. You got to think about all of the other influences that cause this person to have this action. And so I think this analysis really hit close to me because this is things that I seriously do struggle with all the time, is situational and dispositional reasoning. I am definitely somebody who takes people's actions very personal. I feel like not that everything is a personal attack, because I do also look at like the positives. Like it's not just the errors. I look at the positives that people do for me and I'm like, wow, that person really cares about me when they show these actions, you know? Whether it's situational or not, I'm constantly like taking people's actions and thinking about who they are as a person because of them. So I think that I definitely should like start learning to be more situational when understanding people's actions. But I think that disposition does play a huge part in like the way that people react. But I think it's a great balance to have both, thinking about it, because you gotta have both. I mean, there's plenty of great people who have made questionable actions because of the situation that they're in. And that's great. You just have to learn when to separate the two. So that was my analysis. Thank you for listening.